Good morning, good morning. I popped out to do a quick garden update and it started raining, so we're gonna do this in the rain and hope that that doesn't like destroy my cell phone or anything. So here is the main vegetable garden that I showed you guys last time. I'm standing behind the monstrous oregano. So let's go down and take a quick look. Got the little new oregano doing a lot better now after some more moisture. That's another creeping phlox. It's also hanging in there. A mole came through here and dug everything up. It's the creeping Jenny. It's been wilting a lot in the heat, but the Weigela looks fantastic. I need more Weigela. They grow so fast. So this bed was empty last time. I did an update, and it now has 3 sweet potato plants in here. My mom grew the slips for me because I have no idea how to do that. I think these are all Carolina rubies. I think they're the orangish reddish ones, but I will have to correct myself on that later. I don't have a tag for them. These are the onions. They're starting to get a little bit bulbous down there, looking nice. This was the peanut bed, and as you can see, there are still peanut plants in here. They're looking nice. They got eaten by bugs, and I thought they were all going to die, but they are back now. Ooh, what is that? Go away. Ew. So I put, what are these? The black peanuts? Yeah, the black peanuts are in here, but I also put up a tomato trellis because I had a bunch of volunteer tomato plants in here. In fact, I still have 3. I'm only going to keep 2 of them. I don't know what kind of tomato plants they are. I suspect they may be Amish paste. Gonna find out though. You can never have too many tomatoes. I really need to weed in here. I have not done a good job of weeding this past week because my allergies have been terrible. But yeah, I've got the 6 original tomato plants along here, and this thing which is blooming now, that's a volunteer garlic. Over here you can see the carrots are quite big. In fact, I think I might need to pull up one of these huge ones and see what it looks like, because I have no idea how long it's been in the ground, unfortunately, because I don't keep track. This is garlic. The 2 boxes on this side are the garlic I planted in the autumn, so they will be coming out of the ground in another 2 weeks or so. You can see they're getting ready to bloom. These are garlic scapes. I need to cut them off. You can cook with them. They're very garlicky. You can throw them into omelets. They're really tasty. But you can see the leaves are starting to die, and when a certain number of them have died and they look pretty crispy, that's when you pull them up. Go along here. All of my clover. The clover is gigantic because I still haven't cut it down in the pathways. This is mostly weeds, but you can see the 2 bits of purple kale. My weeding efforts this week kind of ended over here. I didn't get into the big box. This is the bugleweed. I did not get more of it this year because I couldn't find it in stores, so maybe I missed it. This is the coreopsis. It is blooming now. I don't think it was blooming in my last update. It's big and bushy, and I love it. Does really well in the sun too. You know, I was raving about how lush and beautiful the creeping thyme was last time, and it turns out it rots when it gets wet here. So you can see there are bits in there that have just died, but it's spreading again. So yeah, I think this is just not a well-drained place. It's very hot, but when it gets wet, the water just sits there. It doesn't like that. More of the peanut plants. Some of them have died, but these are the red ones, and, you know, a few of them will pull through. That is more onions, and a real straggly pepper plant, and another, right there, straggly pepper plant. These were babies that my mom gave me, and 2 of the 4 or so of them survived. You can see that the dead nettle is also dying catastrophically because of the heat and lack of water. Once again, this is not a good place for dead nettle. It needs shade. So I'll be transplanting more of this stuff in other places in the yard that are better. This is the box of peas. I do not recommend trying to use old tomato cages for a mass of peas. You should do them in straight, long trellis rows. This was a mistake, but I am done harvesting peas, and now I am growing them out for seed, like this, so that I will have some fresh pea seeds. I'll have peas to plant again, either this autumn or next spring. I only got 20 ounces of peas out of this box, and I would like to have like triple that, so we'll see. Oh, and this is the echinacea plant. It's blooming. The one out front isn't blooming yet. I'm not sure why, but this one is doing great. And the creeping phlox down there is doing great too. It must really like it there. Compost, compost. I love my compost bin. I got a big compost crank to aerate it with. It's fantastic. Also, it's kind of gross in there. Those are the Heshiko bunching onions. I need to pull some of those up and, I don't know, make myself some spicy tofu or something. It's a little pretty garden over here. The red barberry is fantastic. I've had to pull out a bunch of the spiderwort because it was crowding things. There's a little hosta down there. The columbine is mostly done blooming. And the sweet spire is just surviving. It's not spreading. Oh, and I planted the vinca, or the creeping myrtle down there. It's not doing much. Back up here on the side of the house, I have my beautiful lush mint. It's getting bigger. I'm going to start working on getting it to expand up here. We'll see if the dog digs it up or not when it gets too close to the door. I don't think I've ever shown this before. I keep forgetting. This is Monarda? Bee balm, I think is the generic name for it. I planted this last year, and this year it is blooming like crazy. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I stuck it here to try to deal with a puddle issue because I've got a drain spout. Well, you can't see it because it's hidden by bush. But yeah, there's a lot of water runoff here now. It seems to like it here. And yes, I do need to trim my lilac bush so I can get through the actual path, but go around here. The front garden, here is the other echinacea plant. It's getting ready to bloom. More lilac. All these white flowers are sweet alyssum. I planted them here just to take up space along the edges. They're doing great. More little oregano, finally doing better. The euonymus is still toasty. I think it needs to be watered more. It just is looking great. I cut back the sage and it's growing back. It was squishing everything, so I had to rip out, or not rip out, just sort of cut back most of it. Teeny tiny rosemary, some Genovese basil. The parsley is doing great now. That is some thyme with like, I don't know, chickweed or something in it. It's my other Heshiko bunching onions, and then next to them are the calla lilies that I forgot were there. It's a good thing I didn't dig them up when I was planting the green onions. They haven't bloomed yet. In fact, I don't know if they are getting ready to bloom or not. Doesn't look like it yet. I don't know, they came up really late. Like really, really late this year. But even the leaves are pretty. Look at that. The Asiatic lilies have already bloomed. I didn't get them on camera this year. Some of the ferns are hanging on, but the fern over here, once again, toasty. As you can tell, there's not a lot of shade in my garden. This is the little dark opal basil. It's kind of getting squished by the sweet alyssum. But yeah, that's the one clump that survived. This is the Buddleia that I planted. It is also starting to grow a lot now. It's my beautiful, blooming coral bell. My new coral bell died a horrible death because I have no idea why. Lots of baby hostas, more coral bells, more hostas, and as you can see back there, you see everything that looks like this. That is the chameleon plant that is slowly taking over, which is fine for right now. And yeah, the rose bush that I hate. So that is basically it for the garden update. I had another dogwood tree die on me, but at least my beautiful crabapple is still alive. It's kind of droopy, I'm not sure why. I might have to stake it, but yeah. That is it for the quick tour of the garden, and hopefully next time there will be actual tomatoes to eat. Hope you guys enjoyed.